So what you gonna do, man?
What?
In general.
I'm in a new band.
Can I get in the band?
Yeah?
What do I do?
You play sleigh bells?
Yeah. Sleigh bells. We gotta talk more about this band. First things first, I quit the band. I don't feel like the direction and the sound.
Get out of here!
Get out of here!
Get out of here!
Have you ever wondered to yourself, why do we play first-person shooters? Why are video games as an art form so obsessed with simulated gun carnage? Is it a primal instinct to desire violence? Is it to let off the stress of our boring modern dystopia? Or is it because it's really funny and I'm this close to leveling up? Borderlands 2 is a looter shooter developed by Randy Pitchford and his team of gremlins, but more importantly, it is a time capsule to the year 2012. If, like me, you made the mistake of being a child during this time, you have probably also developed an unhealthy codependency on dated PS3-era games, as your damaged and underdeveloped prefrontal cortex has irreversibly associated the experience of old games with your longing for simpler times, where instead of TikTok dances, everyone did the Harlem Shake for like a year. The point is, this is an aging game played exclusively by depressed Zoomers who haven't found anything that hits their dried out dopamine receptors quite the same. You kids nowadays with your vape pens and your galaxy gas, back in my day the only drug we needed was the never-ending loop of simulated violence and character upgrades. And also weed, but that came later. I have a confession to make. I adore this game. I've played it across 3 different console generations, and as more time goes by and the AAA gaming industry continues to pump out garbage that nobody wants, this title has stood the test of time pretty well. Back in 2012, this was a 7 out of 10. Nowadays, it's like a dream. There are approximately 5 ways to play this game depending on what character you've chosen to embody. If you're a Gemini, I suggest you play a Gunzerker so that the 2 wolves inside you can each have their own gun. However, if you're a Cancer, I suggest you download a maxed out gauge save file, press a single button, and watch as the game plays itself.
Are you?
Sandman's dead?
Tell me, dear viewer, do you enjoy Japanese literature? How about black leather, katanas? Or perhaps you just really enjoy turning invisible for 5 seconds, doing absolutely nothing in that time, and waiting 30 seconds to do it again? Well then congratulations, you are a certified Zero main. This is somehow the most popular character in the franchise. I have always been an advocate that the gaming industry doesn't have nearly enough representation for bottoms. Borderlands 2 addresses this issue by letting Maya mains spec their entire character into being a heel slut in a game that already lets players res themselves basically for free. Maya mains will do everything they can to steal every kill while you're in fight for your life mode so that you have no choice but to let them heal you, but that's okay because it's not about being useful, it's about wearing gamer socks and servicing larger, stronger men. Also, she can do this or whatever. I will not be covering Axton because unfortunately it took Gearbox 7 more years before they could figure out how to make soldier classes fun. Sorry, but if I wanted to hire a robot to get kills for me, I would play TF2. Or I would just play as Gage, who is actually the best character for the sole reason that with the Ordered Chaos skill tree, every time you empty a magazine, you get a stack of Anarchy, which slightly increases your damage and decreases your accuracy. And this effect stacks hundreds of times. When you're one-shotting everything and aiming becomes pointless, you're doing it right. As long as you never manually reload, in which case every single stack of Anarchy that you've gained will disappear one by one. I have no words to describe the feeling of watching an hour of progress disappear after pressing a single button once other than I could buy the Discord perk to prevent this, but unfortunately I'm not a groomer, so Discord is strictly off limits. On the bright side, at least you get your accuracy back so you won't miss when you end it all. To avoid this happening to you, I suggest you rebind your reload to something you'll never press, like this. But wait, you can get even more sweaty. Krieg not only has the best voice acting in the game, but also gets an axe that lets him tap into the mind of an absolute schizoid, running down his enemies and bashing their skulls in with the force of a sexually frustrated gorilla, flinging shit into the walls of their enclosure, screaming to God, and ripping apart children that fall into their enclosure. If this sounds like you, consider running Krieg. Unsurprisingly, he has the most batshit skill trees that include lighting himself on fire, hitting himself with his own weapon, turning on friendly fire.
You fucked up my face.
Dude, I have friendly fire turned on, you asshole.
Sorry.
And the literal martyrdom perk from COD. If you enjoy chasing down terrified pedestrians with a serrated weapon, you'll enjoy playing Krieg. If you're absolutely intent on maximizing DPS and optimizing the fun out of existence, infinite gunzerking is a thing, and maybe, just maybe, as Salvador you'll be able to finally stop getting your kills stolen by Deathtrap. My friends scream at me to stop using Gage, but the way I see it, I'm training them for our future where our robot slaves rebel and flip the script on us. And And as we can see from Borderlands 3, I was right. This is what I was saying with these fucking robots, man. Swear to God, mark my words, this shit is gonna be in your front lawn tomorrow, and it's gonna be your dog.
Can I join it?
Oh my god.
So, see, this is why it's going to be in your yard tomorrow. When you're getting unwillingly violated by robot sex fiends, don't say I didn't warn you. The gameplay in general strikes a nice middle ground between old school Call of Duty and Diablo. The guns are procedurally generated and utterly unpredictable, the character upgrade trees are really well made and change the game drastically, and the grenades are completely batshit insane magic orbs that can do basically anything. They're easily one of the most interesting parts of the gameplay, which is why Gearbox made sure that Game of the Year Edition gives players the best one in the game at the very beginning, so you'll never see any of the other ones. Moreover, the fight for your life system is a really great mechanic, and I wish more games had it. Reviving yourself with headshots is genuinely the pinnacle of the FPS genre, and we as a society need to recognize that. Remember, if you ever feel useless, just know that there is a melee button in Borderlands 2. Oh, but if you spec every single part of your Krieg build into melee, it becomes slightly less useless. Yeah, or I could just use a gun. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's quite a lot of those in this game. Speaking of shooting, you might see footage of me shooting at absolutely nothing throughout this video. That is because my YES controller decided to start breaking down. Let it be known that there was an entirely usable PS4 controller nearby during the entirety of my playthrough, and I simply chose not to resolve the issue. Because if you ask me, playing Borderlands 2 with a faulty 360 controller is probably the most authentic way to experience the game. The second best way to experience the game is with dialogue muted and the subtitles turned off. If you ask any normal person what Borderlands is, they'll tell you that it's a shooter with really annoying characters. Ask the Gearbox dev team and they'll tell you that it's an immersive stand-up comedy simulator showcasing the funniest writing Gearbox has to offer. There are several missions in this game where your entire objective is to walk to a place, listen to a character monologue for minutes on end, and then do that again 5 more times, with not a single combat encounter to speak of. Gearbox was so proud of their random XD humor that they made sure you would hear every single thing a character has to say no matter what you do. Run to the other side of the planet to escape Scooter's 14th story about wanting to fuck his sister, and the game will simply radio transmit his 5-minute monologue directly to you. The good news is that there is a very high chance that another character will start giving you their avalanche of shitty jokes before Scooter's done talking, cutting him off. There is one character in the entirety of this game that doesn't tell jokes, which is precisely why Gearbox made sure to kill him violently and then make fun of him in future titles. Tiny Tina, on the other hand, might be the most grating character I've ever heard in my life. Like a child who stares you down on public transportation, asks if you have games on your phone, and then proceeds to recite the entire Skibbity Toilet lore to everyone around them. Naturally, Gearbox dedicated an entire DLC to this creature and an entire spin-off game narrated by her.
Some of the side missions are actually pretty entertaining.
Most of them are just go to place, shoot a pop culture reference in the face and leave, but my consumer brain absolutely loves the idea of shooting the TMNT, so fuck it. My favorite mission is the one where you go to Marcus's literal goon cave and find his most valuable possession, pictures of Moxie that I'm not entirely sure I can show on YouTube. You have the option of returning them to Marcus or to Moxie herself, who will then upload them to her OnlyFans, and the rich get richer. Many players regard this game as having the best writing and story in the series, and I'm here to tell you that that's not entirely true. I found this game absolutely hilarious when I was 10 years old. Likewise, Borderlands 3 is probably exceptionally humorous to the guy who shows up to a concert and watches Family Guy funny moments. The point is, comparing a garbage bin full of human organs and a bin full of human organs covered in shit isn't really productive criticism. We know one of them is worse, but it doesn't make much of a difference now, does it? Listen, I know I'm coming off pretty pretentious right about now, but honestly I'm just trying to enjoy what time we have left before Gearbox adds a Skibbity Toilet reference to Borderlands 4. You know they're going to do it. Genuine things I love about this game: the art style. In an age where every game has to be photorealistic garbage that's 78 hours long and takes up 300 gigabytes of storage, it's nice to play a game that's so low texture, setting the resolution as low as it'll go doesn't make any difference whatsoever. And yet, despite having the exact same cel-shaded art style, Borderlands 3 still managed to be twice the size of Elden Ring and can only run on my PC when I set the FPS to 30. Gotta love modern AAA PC optimization. Aside from the art style, I think a genuinely underappreciated quality of this game is its level design. For real, it's actually impressive how they managed to make such small linear areas seem so open and lively with a variety of enemies that corresponded to the environment that you're in. Compared to Borderlands Borderlands 3, where all of the areas are way too big and empty and you fight the same bandits and Malawan guys across multiple planets. Gearbox, if you're watching this, I literally do not care what you do with Borderlands 4, just bring back the bullymongs. I love these little guys. I'm however far into this video and I haven't even mentioned what it's about. Okay, you start out as one of 6 Vault Hunters, and even though there's only 6 to choose from and they all have names, every NPC will refer to you as Vault Hunter, except Handsome Jack, who wants to make Pandora a safer place by unleashing a giant alien monster. The biggest obstacles in his way are the Vault Hunters from the previous game. It is for this reason that he decides to pay 6 more Vault Hunters to come to Pandora, who he immediately tries to kill, but you live because he keeps resurrecting you and allows his daughter to repeatedly give you vital information about what Jack's doing at all times. Makes sense, right? You start out on a shitty glacier fighting Arctic Machamps while Claptrap screams in your ear, eventually killing this guy and moving on to the city of Sanctuary, which is actually the best hub area in any game I've ever played. Anyway, Roland from the previous game gets kidnapped, not by Lilith, but some bandits. One cool set piece later, you rescue him and everything is sunshine and rainbows, except it's not because Jack is still alive. Suddenly, the Guardian Angel ghost lady that's been radio gaslighting you the entire game betrays you because she was Jack's daughter and a double agent the whole time, and then the city starts flying. You spend the next hour trying to get back to the city, round up Mordecai and Rigby from the previous game, break into a fortified Hyperion bunker, forcing Claptrap to become relevant to the plot again because we definitely need more of him. Turns out Angel was actually a triple agent the whole time and was actually helping us behind Jack's back, which is why you kill her. And then Jack kills Roland and kidnaps Lilith while you stand there and watch. Like, seriously, like, what the fuck? Just shoot him already. You fight through an army of Jack's minions, and Mordecai and Rigby die, except they don't, and 4 dickheads fight a biblically accurate pit bull to save the universe, or some shit. Finally, after everything you've done, your reward is a map to other vaults that immediately gets lost and all the Vault Hunters leave. You know what? I take it back. This game's story isn't a garbage bin full of human organs. It's more like a box full of chicken hearts. It's got charm and urgency to its plot that really pushes you to keep playing. I could probably make some comparison to Cyberpunk and say that the game is actually a commentary about how late-stage capitalism will commodify everything, even death, but the game doesn't really seem to care about making that statement, so I guess I will in a minute or two. Actual request for Borderlands 4. Please stop interrupting the gameplay for story beats. It was mildly annoying in Borderlands 2 and was a serious problem in Borderlands 3. Bringing the gameplay to a halt to listen to characters talk takes up entirely too much time in these games. Please scale down the graphics a bit so my computer doesn't scream when I run it. Bring back the enemy variety that Borderlands 2 had. Bring back having 6 characters instead of 4. Stop shoving Handsome Jack references everywhere. We get it. And please, quit with these retarded splash screens. Nobody has enjoyed them since Suicide Squad. And if you really have to keep doing them, save them for the villains and the main cast. We know who Moxie is. She's had more sniper scopes pointed at her than Fidel Castro. To finish off this video, AAA gaming has collapsed. While there are still gems like Baldur's Gate and Helldivers coming out, the industry has fallen victim to the oldest trick in the book, attempting infinite growth within a finite system, otherwise known as cancer. Bigger ambitions and bigger promises from parasitic corporate owners who chase after bigger and bigger profit margins each year to satisfy their inflation fetish have pushed the medium to its absolute limit in the name of stock value, momentum, and corporate greed. Standards will get lower, garbage will become the norm, and the talented people who give their time, labor, and creativity to the art form for the sheer love of the art form, trampled upon and used like resources to fuel a never-ending conveyor belt of market-tested, brand-friendly, sanitized ideas recycled endlessly while advertising and marketing does everything they possibly can to convince you that there's something, anything left. Something worth your time and your money, especially your money. But we already knew the truth a long time ago. There's nothing left. Anyway, Borderlands 2. It's pretty alright. 7 out of 10.
Fuck you too, bitch!